We've seen how nurses are struggling to care for the sickest COVID-19 patients here at Nebraska Medicine. And now the top psychologist says those nurses need care too. Right now, the broom dump is being held in by this plastic fencing. The Public Works Department says there are plans to create a more permanent fencing to mask the mound, but Fitzer says there's nothing in the works to prevent the smell. Inflation is playing a major role in moving food in and out of the warehouse. Right now, the food bank is spending $780,000 to $80,000 on food alone each month. Yeah, Melissa and John, poll workers are being briefed and sworn in, and then they're heading out the door for this primary elections day. Now, I was here yesterday at the Election Commission office, and voters were able to walk up right to this service desk. It was a very different sight from the general election in November when the line of early voters wrapped alongside of the building. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, online enticement reports rose 97.5% from 2019 to 2020. These marchers say they're tying the mental toughness it takes to walk 50 miles with the mental struggles veterans face every day. Now, the Douglas County Health Department will be offering COVID-19 vaccines for anyone coming to the show tonight, but that does not replace proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test. Remember, you can bring a picture of your vaccine card as you walk in. Along I-680, we just passed the intersection of Highway 6. Now, earlier this morning, roads were clear, but as that light precipitation has built up, conditions are a bit dicey now. I'm seeing a lot more freezing mixing in with that brine along these roads. We did make a quick stop in Millard earlier, and I stood outside for only 2 to 3 minutes and had to jump right back in the car. It is cold outside. As they power their homes with generators, neighbors here along North 50th Avenue say they feel like they're on an island as the rest of the neighborhood's power has been turned back on. It's been 4 days since Saturday's hurricane-force winds knocked out power to nearly 200,000 in the metro. David Willerson has been running his generator on and off since the storm. He's thrown power cords down his laundry chute to reach his freezers below. A resident for more than 40 years, David's kept a close eye on his older neighbors, many suffering from chronic health problems.
I'm the youngest house owner on this block, so I've known all of these people as they've gotten older and, you know, some death here and stuff like that, so I know their needs.
Across the street, David's longtime neighbor Alonzo Gulliford is struggling to help his wife, who is COPD. He makes a trip to Home Depot to buy a generator.
We have her on a machine, and the machine keeps going dead because we can't keep it charged up.
Alonzo says the patchy outages are frustrating and confusing. He feels like OPPD is leaving him behind.
They say, well, we got this many people we're going to get done today, and we got this many people got done today. Well, this little 2% or whatever, this little island that we're on, these 2 streets, we haven't had a truck come down here.
The people in front of me, people on the side of me, they have power. I have seen OPPD's crews coming in and they leave.
With many power outage pockets around the city like North 50th Avenue, OPPD CEO Javier Fernandez explains some city blocks are on different circuits and some equipment may have unseen problems.
There are many instances in which the structure on the outside may look okay, but the connectors inside may be either loose or completely gone. So that is the type of assessment that our troubleshooters and our employees are assisting customers with.
Katherine Garcia, KETV Newswatch 7. Total Wellness founder Alan Cole says when his company got into the COVID testing business, he didn't know what to expect.
We're in a lot different place than we were 2 years ago.
But he made sure to hire part-time seasonal workers to meet the demand for testing.
We never promoted it as like you're going to work 40 hours a week for the rest of your life.
But Nix Westbrook says when they started working at GS Labs 7 months ago, they made testing their full-time job.
I was looking for a job. I had a few qualifications in the area of medical stuff, so I thought, hey, I'd give it a try.
As testing demand increased, Westbrook says they felt their job as a lab technician was safe, but the decrease in cases worried them and their coworkers.
We were starting to get less and less samples coming in after a while, and we weren't sure what was going on, but even up until the very last moment, they had reassured us, hey, it's okay, we're just getting more efficient. It'll be fine. Don't even worry about it.
Then 2 weeks ago, the company sent this notice. Westbrook and other lab technicians were getting laid off that very day, and their jobs were being automated. In a statement to KETV News Watch 7, a spokesperson for GS Labs says as the COVID-19 pandemic has ebbed, the company has adjusted staffing levels in response, adding that's also true in their lab, where, quote, new efficiencies in the business and lower demand for testing required us to adjust our staffing. Westbrook says they're looking for other work as a lab technician, but they're nervous the next paycheck may not sustain them or their coworkers.
They are going to lose their places. They're going to lose cars. I'm sure I've already had to move back in with my parents because they cut our hours prior to laying us off by a week or two.
GS Labs did not tell me how many employees were laid off, but a spokesperson did tell me if there is another pandemic surge, they will readjust their staffing. Katherine Garcia, KETV News Watch 7. On Friday, the city of Omaha told tenants here at 2550 Jones Street they'd have to be out of their apartments by Monday because they're too dangerous to be lived in. So on a cold Monday morning, volunteers with Together helped residents move out. Aaron Feichtinger says the city let them know about the situation last week so they'd have time to help out.
We have been reaching out over the last couple days, making contact with every resident of this building and helping them with anything they need to move out quickly.
The nonprofit provided these pictures, saying these are the conditions in the Flora apartments. Robert Toscano says he's lived here for the past 5 years.
Nothing's fixed. Hasn't even been since the day I moved in. My toilet's not even built to the floor.
City housing inspectors say there are several permit code cases open involving the landlord, William Stanek, and that he's been cited for permit violations in the past. Aaron Feichtinger says she's seen issues herself.
Some of the typical problems that are showing up over and over again in those code cases, missing smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, broken fire alarms, the furnace has been a problem for a while.
The Omaha Police Department tells KETV News Watch 7 it responded to 500 calls to the complex in the past year. The city's chief city housing inspector, Scott Lane, says OPD recently told his office to tour the units.
We actually were given access to some areas of the building that we wouldn't normally go to because it's not on our original complaint.
Lane says once they saw the conditions, the city had to declare the apartment building unlivable.
As a result, there was some major violations found with electrical issues as well as some fire issues.
Lane tells us by closing down these apartments, the city has cut Stanek's revenue until those issues are addressed. We reached out to Stanek. He did not have a comment for us. As for the tenants, the nonprofit or donations to help provide them temporary housing. Katherine Garcia, KETV News Watch 7.